Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Blanca.
Hi everyone, I'm Lara, and we're part of the team here at Anyshore, where we help connect candidates with remote job opportunities and help them better understand what companies are actually looking for.
And today we are talking about a topic that we know a lot of people are really interested in, which is what are the hottest jobs for Latinos right now? I'm from Nicaragua, Laret's from Brazil, and we've both been working remotely for about 5 plus years now. And today we want to share a bit of our experience, but also we also want to talk about what we are seeing in the remote work market right now.
Yeah, and not just what jobs sound exciting, but which ones are actually in demand right now, right, Blanca? Which ones are more realistic to break into, and what you can do if you want to position yourself better for remote opportunities.
Correct, because one thing that we see all the time, because here we work at Anyshore, that a lot of candidates want to work remotely, but they're not really sure where to start. And sometimes they focus only on the title or they apply to a lot of roles without really realizing what those roles involve and what skills company actually want.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're gonna break it down to you guys in a very practical way, and we'll talk about the most in-demand roles that we're currently seeing, which are best for beginners, and what's changing with virtual assistant positions, and also a little bit about salaries, resumes, and how to stand out for Latinos.
Correct. And so let's start with the big picture, Lara. So when we talk about the hottest job for Latinos right now in the remote space specifically, as Lara mentioned, there are a few categories that keep coming up, and we see that a lot in Anyshore.
One group is entry level and more accessible roles that include things like customer support, virtual assistant roles, admin support, data entry, and sometimes appointment settings too. I would say those are pretty much very entry level and little experience required, little or no experience required
Yeah,
really.
correct. And also, we have more specialized businesses like support roles, like executive assistant, operations support, marketing assistants, sales support, and CRM focus roles. Like, they are the same, but they are more specialized depending on which company you're trying to work.
Mhm. And then besides that, we also have on the higher paying side where we have more technical positions, and that usually includes developers, automation specialists, technical support, AI support roles, and other jobs where companies are looking for more specialized knowledge. But one thing to keep in mind is that there are roles and positions available for everyone in every entry level, beginner level, more advanced roles, there is a spot for you.
Exactly. And Lara, one thing that we want to say like clearly is that not every candidate needs to start with a technical role. If they want to like have a bigger, like a higher paying salary, but sometimes people like hear that developers or automation specialists make more money, and then they feel like it's the only path that they could take, and maybe they don't even like that, you know?
That's actually not true at all, and we see that all the time. And for a lot of people, really, the smartest move is to start with a role that is easier to enter and build experience, get exposure to US companies, work ethics, improve communication skills, and then grow from there.
Correct. Because as Lara mentioned at the beginning, there is space for everybody. So right now, if you're someone who is just starting out and just trying to break out into the remote work for the first time, or sometimes the best thing to do is start with roles like Lara mentioned as customer support, virtual assistant, or admin support.
Yeah, those are, to me, those are the best roles for entry role. Now, let's talk about salary for a second,
Mm-hmm.
Blanca, because that's one of the biggest questions people always have for us. So, for customer support, a realistic starting range we often see is around $900 to $1,500 per month. And stronger candidates with better English, more experience, or more niche support backgrounds can sometimes go above that. And recent remote postings aimed at Latin American candidates commonly land around that band. So yeah, it's a pretty good entry level pay, and yeah, it's awesome.
And one thing that we really want to let you know that customer support, and actually Lara and I, we both started as customer support and we have that experience, it's
Yeah.
a really important one because I think sometimes people actually underestimate that role. And because you most think like, or most people think that it's just answering messages or solving problems, but it actually builds a lot of valuable skills, right?
Yeah, it really does. People underestimate it so much. And in customer support, you learn how to communicate clearly and how to stay
Hmm.
calm under pressure, how to solve problems quickly, how to manage expectations, and pretty much how to deal with people professionally. And it's amazing. I feel like everyone should have some customer support experience because it's amazing.
I know it's like it's a role that actually you learn some skills that can be transferred into many other roles later. Like you can use
Oh
them
yeah.
like in a lifetime. And we've seen people that have moved from customer support into sales, client success, account managers, executive assistant roles, and even operation roles in a more like a higher companies in the U.S.
So if someone's listening and they feel like customer support just sounds too basic, it's really not.
Hmm.
It can be, and it is a very strong entry point, especially if your long-term goal is to build a remote career.
Definitely. Okay, Lara. So now we talked about these entry levels jobs, and I think there is one other entry level job that it's one of the biggest categories that also it's very misunderstood, which is virtual assistant roles.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is important because sometimes people hear virtual assistant and imagine one very general role, but today that's usually not how companies think about it.
At all. And actually, today, like a virtual assistant role can mean different things, a lot of different things, depending on the company, right? So some companies want general admin help. Yeah, we know that. But a lot of them actually want some support and someone who can do specific parts of the business.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. For example, a modern entry-level virtual assistant might help with calendar management, inbox
Mm-hmm.
organization, CRM updates, everything related to lead research, data entry, customer follow-ups, social media, scheduling, or helping organize internal systems really. So there is a lot into it.
Yeah, building SOPs is a big one
Uh-huh.
because everybody needs SOPs, and
Right.
other virtual systems, sorry, can also touch like email funnels, reporting, updating spreadsheets, or even helping maintain task boards into tools like Trello, Monday.com, Asana, ClickUp. Like that's also part of building SOPs. And
Uh-huh.
I think having this knowledge that not virtual system they don't only do this basic work um, tends to confuse people at some point.
Right, right. Um, and also marketing too. And
Yeah.
also a virtual assistant also ends up doing a lot of customer support too, just depending on the company. Now let's talk about salary wise for virtual
Hmm.
assistants. And I would say your practical range is often around $1,000 to $2,000 per month, depending on the tasks, the client, and the level of ownership. US salary trackers show much higher domestic averages, but Latin American targeted remote roles and contractor roles are usually lower than those US based benchmarks. right?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes we hear candidates say, I want to be a VA, and that's okay as a starting
Okay.
point. But
Yeah.
it's even better if you're applying to be a VA, you can be more specific and say what kind of support you actually can provide. Because as we were mentioning, there's a wide range of things you can do, and also there's a wide range of people or companies that are hiring for, right? So it's very, very important that you are specific on
Hmm.
the virtual assistant role that you are applying.
Exactly. Because that makes a huge difference in how you position yourself. Instead of just sounding generic, you sound useful. Like, trust me, most of the applications that we get is very generic. I want to be a virtual assistant, but for what? So
Yeah,
just be
exactly.
very specific. Be very specific. Focus on one thing and build your resume around it.
Definitely.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
and if you're a beginner, that can feel intimidating, right, at first. However, we have good news for you. And there is a lot of these skills that you can use that you can learn through practice if you don't have them right now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you don't need to wait until you get hired to start building those skills. You can practice using Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Canva, Trello, Notion, HubSpot, or other tools really that are very common in remote roles. So if you don't have any experience, seriously, take this advice.
Yeah,
Don't wait until you start a job. Like, start building your experience beforehand. That just shows that you're very proactive and you're just somebody that's focused, and that's very useful to us, and we want to hire you.
definitely. Like, you can promote yourself, or when if you start something on your own, like let's say you create like a mini project for yourself. Let's say, yeah, you don't have a job right now, and you just start applying, but you check all of the tools that people are looking for. So you can build like a simple weekly content calendar if it's a requirement there, and a few things you can try organizing, like mock inbox. Like, you just create an inbox and you subscribe to a lot of stuff, and then you can start organizing then that inbox as a practice to have that experience, or create a simple spreadsheet, or you can put together like a mini admin portfolio, and that shows actually your work, and you have actually practiced that. You're not lying, you're preparing yourself.
That's such a good point, actually, because a lot of candidates think experience only counts if it came from a paid job, but that's not always true. If you can show, like I said before, if you can show initiative, organization, and real examples of your work, that already helps a lot. That helps a ton, right? So don't
Yeah.
underestimate your skills.
Definitely, and you can start building them. So,
Oh, yeah.
also another thing that you can do, there are a few certifications that you can help that can help build your resume, especially if they're connected to real tools and practical skills. And actually, not because a certificate alone gets you hired, we're saying this to you, but also because it shows that you took the time to learn something specific, and you have that knowledge fresh in your mind before
Yeah.
applying.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone should know that that's what companies want to see. They want to understand whether you can actually support their business and not just whether you like the idea of working remotely. They want to understand that you want to be a part of their company and you're going to bring positive outcomes. So,
Exactly, and that you're able to help the company. That's why they're looking to hire you, right? And it's basically, well, at this point, if you're still listening here and you're starting to identify with any of these roles, right, and whether it's customer support, or you want to be a virtual assistant, or you want to be like an admin support, this is a great time to check our website. Go to anyshore.ai, and you can explore the kinds of remote opportunities and all the resources available there. On LinkedIn, Lara gives a lot of the tips and tricks to build a better resume, to build confidence while applying. And you can go to our LinkedIn page, or you can just go to directly to the website.
Yeah, because also one of the biggest mistakes candidates make is waiting too long to start taking action. So even if you're not fully ready yet, it helps to start understanding the market and seeing what companies are asking for, and that's just going to give you an idea of the roles are
Exactly.
available and the requirements.
And any skill that you can learn while you are applying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and if we go like, okay, so let's talk about a little bit about more like the specific roles and the salaries.
Mhm.
So, um, let's say we want to go one step higher, like from general VA work, like executive assistant or more specialized support, usually they pay more, right? So a
Mhm.
realistic range there is often around 1,500 to 3,000 per month, depending, this is important, depending on the complexity of the skills that you have, the schedule, and whether you are supporting one executive or multiple people. That's also something that you need to check
Mhm.
on the role description,
Yeah.
if you're gonna be supporting one people or you're gonna be multiple, you're gonna be supporting multiple people, or you're gonna be part of a team that you're gonna have help supporting those people, right? So right now the current Latin focus positions that we have show that many executive assistant roles are around 1,500 to 2,000 per month. And of course we know that US, these roles in the US, they are more much higher, but that's why they are outsourcing, right? To get a good talent for
Mhm.
for lower prices, but not the quality. They're not able to, they don't want actually to compromise the talent. That's why you need to prepare.
And that's exactly why we always say the more specific and business critical your support becomes, the more room there is to increase your compensation. So don't underestimate yourself. Keep working, keep focusing on something specific, right?
Definitely, definitely.
So,
So,
yeah, because the more specific
mhm.
you are, the more compensation you're going to be getting.
And the most valuable your work is,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
not everybody can do that you are doing specifically, right? So
Mhm.
okay, so let's talk about again like a little bit about salary strategy, because one of the first things, this is one of the first things they want to know, right? That's why people are trying to get a job to get more money.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Salary actually always depends on the role and
Yeah,
your level of experience. Your English, your communication skills, the tools you know, and how well you can explain your value, like marketing yourself,
exactly.
right? So that's very important too.
Yeah, because you can have the all the skills, right? But if you don't really know how to sell yourself well during the interview, all that skills are going to be overseen, right? So
Mhm.
again, follow us at Anyshore.ai and LinkedIn, because Lara gives a lot of tips there. Okay,
Yeah,
so
every day, pretty much every day, we
yeah,
give a whole bunch of tips. It's literally your cheat sheet, so you can go in there and watch all of my videos, and then you're gonna have a pretty good idea of what we're looking for in a candidate and how to apply correctly.
definitely. Okay, so let's do an example, right? Let's say we have an entry level customer support or admin related roles, and you may start, or you can start at a more moderate range, right? But there's a big difference between a candidate who says I can answer messages from one who says I can handle customer support, user CRM systems, manage tickets, and improved response quality.
Yeah,
That's a huge difference right there,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, exactly, exactly. The second candidate actually sounds way more valuable and ready, and even if the job titles look similar on paper. So it's all about how you communicate and how you market yourself.
definitely.
Honestly, yeah.
And also this also it's important in when it comes to negotiating your salary, right? A lot of candidates are afraid to ask for a higher end or a range because they just don't know how to justify that, right? Because you're not really
Yeah.
what about the value that you're bringing. If you were 100% sure of the value and the skills that you have, you wouldn't hesitate, right? Like
Right.
negotiating your salary.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that we always recommend is don't just ask for a number. Explain why. And
Hmm.
tie your request to skills, tools, experience, and all the value that you're bringing, really. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, okay, let's say you have a strong English and you actually have experience with the US clients, you have good responsiveness, you have a time zone alignment that's very important,
Mm-hmm.
and familiarity with tools that a company already uses, and you have checked those in the job description, and those are really real good advantages, right, Lara?
Right. And that actually matters because companies, one thing to keep in mind is companies are not only hiring based on cost, right, Blanca? They're
Yeah.
hiring based on trust, communication, ease of collaboration, and whether you can actually help the business run better. So, yeah,
It's
that
basically what we
matters
were
a lot.
saying.
Yeah.
Mhm. That you need to show your value. That's why they're hiring you. And if you're negotiating, don't undersell yourself. Be realistic, but be prepared to explain why this is the salary that you are asking for, and explain your value in a clear way.
That's and that connects directly to your resume, your CV, because if your resume is too generic, companies won't fully understand what you can do. And then again, everyone,
Mhm.
be specific. Know where you're trying to get and know your tools. Be very specific.
Definitely. Because this is, I think, one of the biggest or the biggest issue that we see when candidates apply, that a lot of resumes include bullet points that are technically true, but they're too vague to create an impact and for someone to pick you. Remember that you're competing with a lot of people that are actually being specific, and if you're not being specific, you're invisible, basically.
Exactly. It's like saying on one bullet point, I have handled customer complaints.
That's actually not taking you anywhere. Like
That's
that
so true.
doesn't.
I say that all the time. We're like,
Yeah, like the crickets, right? Like when someone like reads
okay,
that.
and
Yeah, that doesn't really tell us much. Like a stronger version of that could be, for example, I resolve 50 plus customer concerns weekly while maintaining service quality and identifying recurring issues to improve communication. How does that sound, Laura?
oh yeah, that sounds much stronger because now I can see volume, responsibility, and impact.
Definitely.
That's yeah.
In one like less than a paragraph, right?
Hmm.
So another example that we see a lot, and it's very weak, it's just I manage social media.
Oh my God, that's very, very broad. I would say the a better version might be scheduled weekly social media content, tracked
Mhm.
engagement, and supported brand consistency across multiple platforms. How does that sound?
That sounds way much clearer. And actually, I can know exactly what you did in the last job, right? That means that you need to really know how to tailor your resume, and you want your experience to match the language and the priorities of the job that you're applying for. You need to really check the job description, right?
Yeah, honestly, and you're right, Blanca. And one thing to keep in mind too is that keywords matter too.
Yeah.
So if the role mentions CRM updates, calendar management, client communication, lead follow up, your resume should reflect the skills you actually have in those areas.
Definitely.
That's
And yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, no. And most people, when we say this, they tend to copy and paste randomly from the job description. And you're not really translating that to your real experience as the examples that we just gave. You need to make your resume like talk for you basically that makes sense why you are applying for that specific role.
Hmm. Exactly, because sometimes candidates do have relevant experience, but they're presenting it in a way that just makes it easy to overlook. When we
Definitely.
see something generic, pass.
Yeah,
We want something very specific. So,
definitely. The more specific, the more doors you can open to yourself, right? And
mhm,
before we
100%.
wrap up this, Lara, let's also touch about the higher paying technical side of the remote jobs, because we know a lot of people they are curious about that, and there may be a few people that they have that experience but they don't really know how to apply or where to apply on how does
Yeah,
that work.
yeah. So roles like developer, automation specialist, AI support, and really other technical positions can be very strong long-term paths that often come with higher salary potentials.
Definitely. And it's because they are more specific, right? The more specific your job is and the value that you bring and the skills that you have, the wider your salary ranges are. For example, an automation specialist might land anywhere, like really anywhere, from 3,500 to 8,000 plus per month. Also, depending on whether you're what you're doing, basically, right? Like no code systems and advanced CRM automation, integrations, engineering heavy workflows. Like current US salary data for automation specialists centers much higher on an annual basis, which is why the remote contractor market varies so much in these areas.
Right, right. And I'm sorry, I would just like to add that for
Yeah.
developers, especially if they have solid experience with in-demand frameworks, a broad range would could be around 4,000 to $10,000 per month, and sometimes even more for senior talent or specialized contract work. So a recent remote developer positionings show a very widespread, so including roles that go to 45 to $70 per hour on a higher end. So
And again, we need to make sure to people understand that because of this role they require more specialized learning, that they have a stronger portfolios and they have a you can tell they have a clear understanding on the tools and system the company needs. So that's why most of these jobs are higher paid, like salaries, right?
yeah, yeah. So if that's your path, that's great, but we'd say be intentional about it. Don't just say you want to work in tech. Learn specific skills. Then again, we're talking about being specific,
Yeah.
just so everyone knows how important that is. Uh, learn specific skills and build real examples and understand how those skills solve business problems. And also have your portfolio ready. That's very important.
All the time that you're applying,
Yeah.
have it ready, because honestly, that's a actually I was thinking that's a probably a topic that you should dedicate a full episode to,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe having a guest that works directly in
Hmm.
developer or development or automation can help us, because I know there's a lot of people that have these skills but maybe they don't even know how to negotiate maybe their salary, right?
Mhm. Yeah, you're right, because that would let us go much deeper into what we learn, where to stand, and what kind of beginner portfolio actually makes sense.
Yeah, because right now we
Yeah,
don't have that experience. We're not developers, so
right.
having a guest might
Yeah, we
work.
would have to. Yeah, we would have to have a specific
Yeah.
guest who specializes in that. Yeah, I feel like that's the one of the things that we're bringing up the most. So if we're mentioning it a lot, it's because it matters. Like be specific, and it matters.
It matters a lot. So, Lara, to recap, if you're trying to figure out the hottest jobs for Latinos right now in the remote workspace, here's what we say.
Yeah. So first, there are a lot of real opportunities, but you need to focus on roles that match your current skills and your realistic next step.
Definitely. And second, customer support, virtual assistant, and admin support are still something of the best entry points for many candidates. Definitely.
Right, right. And third, virtual assistant roles today are more task specific than people think. So it really helps to build concrete skills and tools, organization, communication, and business support.
Again, specific. And
Specific,
fourth,
yeah. Yeah.
your resume matters a lot. Generic bullet points are not enough. Not enough. And you need to show impact, keywords, and relevance by being specific.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, being specific. And fifth, when it comes to salary, don't just think about what you want to earn. Think about how to communicate the value you bring. Really,
Important.
like
That's very
yeah,
important.
know how to sell yourself. Like if you value yourself, your company's going to see your value too. So
Yeah, at the very first interview that you have. But the first interview, and you mentioned this, starts while you're applying with your resume.
oh yeah,
So
100%. You 100%. Yeah.
So, if this episode helped you, make sure to keep following along because we want to keep creating content that actually gives real value to candidates, and we can expose the cracks, let's say, on the
Mhm. Yeah.
applying marketplace
A
or
little
landscape.
behind the scenes of what we do
Exactly,
on a daily basis that we can help out. And again, if you are exploring remote opportunities and you want to get paid in US dollars, check out Anyshore.ai to learn more about open roles and resources that can help you move forward.
definitely follow us on LinkedIn as well. And
Yeah,
thank you so much for listening.
we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.